Good evening and welcome to the Bay St. Louis Planning and Zoning meeting of August 29th, 2023. We ask that you all please silence all your cell phones and electronics at this time and that the commissioners make sure the mics are positioned close when they're talking because we've gotten some complaints about not being able to hear very well. And also everyone in the audience, if you can make sure that you're speaking directly into the mic so everybody at home can hear. Also a reminder, if you have not had the chance, if you've got till 7 o'clock to go vote, well, fingers crossed we get enough time that if you haven't done so, you have some time to go to the polls still. We're going to begin with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father in heaven, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Give us unity of spirit even when our opinions differ. Help us to listen politely to other points of view and to remember that we are all a part of the same community. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions towards the right path in the best interests of our city. And a special intention today, looking back on the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, extra thankful for where our city is and that all of us are here today and able to enjoy it. Right. So we ask all this in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first application is Bohne, application for variance to the zoning ordinance submitted by Glenn and Lynn Bohne. The applicants are wanting to add an addition to the dwelling and are requesting the following variances. A variance of 8 feet resulting in a 0-foot side yard setback, a variance of 18 feet resulting in a 2-foot setback to the rear yard, and a variance of 13% resulting in a total of 58% to the maximum lot area. The property is located at 203 Union Street, parcel 149L-0-29-153.000, 229, Second Ward, Bay St. Louis. The property is zoned R2 two-family district. Is the applicant here tonight? Yes, ma'am. Can you come up to the podium, state your name and address, and tell us a little bit more about the need for the variance?
Bohne, and I'm looking for this variance. My husband is a Vietnam vet. He's in pretty bad shape right now, and my house is extremely small, and trying to get him around the house is very hard. And I'm looking to enlarge the bathroom. He has a handicap toilet in one bathroom and a handicap shower in the other. So I need to enlarge one bathroom to make it easier for him to get around. I have some letters here from all of my neighbors. I don't know, who do I give these to?
I could take some. And did we have any to read into the record from emails? This is from you, Miss Lynn.
That one's from me.
You go back.
Explaining why I need to do this. Now, my house was built in the 40s. So when it was built, the back of my house was built 2 feet from the property line. I just want to extend it. I don't want to go any further back. I have a shed that's on the line. I want to tear that down, so that'll give me that 2 feet back.
This letter said it is my understanding that Mr. and Mrs. It's Bohne, right?
Bohne.
Wish to add on to their home at 203 Union Street. I have no objections to this addition. Jimmy, is it
Quintini.
Quintini and Nikki Quintini, 202 Union Street. Another one from Jeffrey C. Stadalis, 302 South 2nd Street. Morella Archie Lego.
Oh, Archibald.
Archibald, 206 City Park Avenue. And another Archibald.
They have 2 houses over there.
208. Ann Wilson.
And the old Palm house.
217 Union. Catherine Moffrey, 210 Union. Aaron Plitch, 208 Union. I don't know, 207 Union. 201 Union. 304 South 2nd Street.
That's the property on the sides of me.
Okay. To whom it may concern, I have no objection to Paulette Bohne adding on making renovations to her home at 203 Union Street. Heather Smith, 204 Union Street. Pinachero, 206 Union Street. And that's all. I do have some people signed up to speak. Before we do that, is there any questions or comments for Ms. Paulette from the commissioner?
I think she said that there was already an existing storage shed on the property line, and all you're
Yes.
doing is tearing that down and
Yes.
replacing that with a porch.
Yes.
So, structure for structure.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So is the porch crucial to getting the ramp to, or what's the need for the porch? Okay. Any other questions from the commissioners? Mr. John Bazoo?
John Bazoo, 315 Hoffman Lane, Wayland. I'm with Procon Management, and I've known Paulette and Glenn for about 30 years or so. And she's put confidence in me to construct the addition if it's approved. And I know Glenn is, it's really tough for him to get around right now. And talking about the bathrooms, we had done the handicap shower, but we know it needs to be expanded. The other bathroom needs to be expanded. So I kind of consulted with her. This is her design, what she wanted, and I drew it out for her so you all can see the layout, how it's going to go. That shed is literally about 6 inches from the fence, and this can come. And we're going to extend the living area to a point where we add a porch where he can go outside and enjoy the outdoors as well. And that's the intent. I'm here to support her, and hopefully y'all will allow her to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Whitney, 308 South Second Street.
Hi, everybody. I think everybody here knows me. Maybe not you. I'm Aaron Whitney, live at 308 South 2nd Street. I am a property adjacent to this property and would be the most affected by it because it would be on my fence line. Currently, there is a structure that is there, as she mentioned, that, if coming down would be a great improvement because I think it's falling apart pretty bad. I do want to caution the council, or not the council, but the committee, that these folks they're pulling the wool over your eye with this. They've done this before. They've done it with the city. About a year and a half ago, I went to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I went to meet you, Mr. Burke, and I said that. You wasn't expecting that, were you? And I said, they're building something out of this old garage on the property, which is not on the tax roll, by the way, if you look at the tax roll. And they said, no, they're doing some drywall repairs. Mr. Bazoo, you told me that. And they said, I said to the council, into the city council and to the mayor, are they using a framing nailer for the drywall repairs? What they were doing actually was they were building an apartment on the second floor of an adjacent property. That's a property that I won't even get into how they got the property, but it was another part of being shysters. And what they're doing is they're trying to make the most of the square foot value of the real estate in this incredibly high valued real estate. When we went to them, this is almost 2 years ago, and I have an email from the mayor where Paul Taylor, who was then working for the city, said that they were putting Mr. Bohne on hospice, that he would die any day now. I said, they're pulling the wool over your eyes. They do this. This is just what they do. They're doing it again. Ms. Bohne won't tell you that she has a son in the prison for raping his or
Okay,
molesting.
let's cut
No.
down all the personal
No,
antics.
I'm saying the reason they want to build this,
It doesn't matter. I
what-
just need your
okay,
opinion
I'm sorry.
on why you're against it
my
and how
opinion
will
for it
affect
is we want to prevent them making the most of this property, not because Mr. Bohne, who would, if he needs it, I'd be all for it. They're making room for someone else to live there in addition to the rental that they're getting from the federal government. What I'd like to see is the city council and the Planning and Zoning Commission look at this shed that is in the backyard, and this will be an email sent to each and every one of you, and it will be sent to all of you, which is a metal shed that was delivered and set on pedestals, visible to the street, never went through planning and zoning, never went through the permitting process. And when it was brought to the city council, they said, well, they're going to have to remove it. I asked Mr. Bazoo one day. He said, oh, it's coming out. Did you say that? Okay, moving it, not because he wanted to move it, but because the city council told him they had to move it. I like, if they can help Mr. Bohne with whatever he needs to get around, God bless him. He's a good guy. If he needs it, help him out. I'm sorry that he's riddled up in this mess that, this has brought into his life. I praise him for being a veteran, and I promise I don't want to try to hinder him from doing this, but I do urge this committee to listen objectively and to see the things that these people have done that are that have impropriety, and vote against this until they rectify things like this shed, things like the garage, which I've looked everywhere. I can't seem to find a building permit for that. And this is a massive structure on Union Street. And I'd like for the city to come in and say, you know what? These are connected good old boys. They got a lot of friends. I'm asking you not to be those good old boys. I'm asking you not to be the council that votes for stuff and then doesn't act on it. I'm asking you to look at an ineffective planning and zoning person who's just getting a check from the city, and we keep writing it. I'm asking you to be objective in this and look at the rules and look past all this nonsense and all these letters, all these, if any one of you asked me to write you a letter and it didn't affect me, I'd write it for you. I like all of y'all. But I'm asking you to vote no. And then when we get all this other business straight within the city, vote yes. I'll write a letter for her. I don't care much for them, but I'll write a letter for them to build what they want to build. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mr. Cliff Rabelais. Sorry, 702 3rd Street.
Good evening, gentlemen. Amy. I actually came because this property, I had no idea who it was. It was in the historic district, and I saw a 0 lot line. I have, while in this meeting, talked to it. I understand that they own this property, and it is R2, and they own the adjacent property that this would infringe on, at least some of it. Obviously, Mr. Aaron Whitney is backed up to him also. And considering that they own the adjacent property, I mean, y'all gonna talk about Shoreline Park. Harold, you familiar with those little bitty lots? Sometimes you got a house built on 2 lots. All that being said, I'm not opposed to it. I came because it's in the historic district, and the 0 lot lines are never good, but I'm understanding now it's not 0 and it's staying where you're continuing the close 2 foot, I guess it is, that you already got existing. So I can't say I'm opposed to that. There is exceptions and reasons for variances, and I don't have it memorized, but I used to read them a lot more often. But I do think that somewhere in there, with them owning the adjacent property and it being pre-existing non-conforming, that as a variance, it probably meets the variance guideline. I would expect y'all probably a little bit more familiar with them than I came to oppose it, but after learning that they own the adjacent property and all that, and that it's not 0, it's existing, and I'm not opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
First, let me clarify that we did do a repair in sheetrock, but the structure had been permitted when Bill Carrigy was the building official. I don't know how long ago that was. Electricity was in place, plumbing was in place, all of that was there. And we were not and did not do any work on the 2nd floor, which is non-inhabited, and it's not inhabitable because it's only about 6 foot, and I'm 6'4", couldn't even walk up there. It's more of an attic, basically. So just to be clear, there is no structure on the 2nd floor. It was never intended to be. Now on the shed, I had advised as a commissioner on the historic commission that the shed was non-conforming. There were some options that we were to either sell it, move it, or have it conform to the architectural standards, which would be siding, certain roof, this, that, and the other. So those things are still in play and could still happen. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to Paulette about it, but I think that reasonably, if it's still it's not visible from, it's barely visible from Union Street. It is visible from Court Street back there. I'm sorry, City Park. And so the shed was necessary for a lot of reasons, for them to store a lot of the things that they had to to do. But at this time, I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but I'm just letting you know that there's options available to them in the historic district. And that's all.
Thank you. If there's any mudslinging, name
No,
calling, I'm
no,
gonna ask
no,
you to
look,
sit down, because I'm
Amy-
done this week. I
Amy-
might be
Amy,
the
I'm sorry.
politics getting to me,
I'm sorry, I'm
but
trying to help you understand that there's more than what you see on the
Yes.
surface. I'd like to show you this picture of the shed that they're referring to. I'd like for them to say there's no one living in there. I'd like for them to say that there's not a government contract or government employees living there. In fact, I'd like for them to tell the government contracting officer with the federal government that there's no one living in there. I'd really love for them to say that. That kind of fraud would make me very happy. But what I'd also like for them to say is that they can't see it from the street, because I can see it from my back window, from my side yard, from the street, from City Park Avenue. This is more and more of just, trying to avert the question, which is, let's make the most out of the value of this piece of property. Everybody wants to make the most out of their property, but we have rules and we have restrictions in place. And I'd like for you to look at this and say, this is not an exception, that we can put more property on, more building on this small, very, very small piece of property. Now, what I'd also like for you to do is clarify why this isn't on the tax roll. If you look on the city tax roll from the Hancock County taxes, I'll show you this piece of property here.
we're not gonna be able to speak to any of that. I'm gonna have to,
You want,
I'm not.
can you
gonna be
show me
able
why there's no structure on there?
to- I cannot, I cannot prove
All
to
right.
you.
Well, I can
do
help you
not-
with it.
Would
'cause
not want that
I can
job.
help you with it. We'll see what Mr. Ladner has to
We're
say
just,
about it.
tonight, we're just concerned about the variance and looking at the variance
Well,
as it's
all of this
done.
talk about that property means that property needs to be relevant to this discussion. And if we're gonna discuss putting something on this property because they own the other piece of property, then that means that that property becomes relevant. And if there's already a structure there, well, then that should be competing in the per square foot percentage. Can you explain to me why it wouldn't?
Because it's a separate lot.
Oh, well, then if it's a separate lot, it's a separate discussion, right? But it seems like we're having the same discussion about it, that they have this other lot, so it's okay.
I'm not having that discussion.
Well, that's not what we're here for?
No, we're here for that one lot.
Okay, so we're here for that one lot.
So we're looking at that one variance.
Okay, so in other
your
words, we're
lot
looking at that
line.
one variance, and we're looking at for the one lot. We're looking at for the lot that their house is on, right? Am I right?
Correct?
So it wouldn't have anything to do with the other lot. We wouldn't take anything into consideration about the other lot. Is that right?
Correct. We're just looking at this one variance.
Okay, so square footage, 58%?
That's just concerning this one lot in the calculations.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rabelais, did you say something about you were looking at this, that when you found out was another lot involved, you weren't opposed to it?
Yes, but none of the commissioners up here, I'm not gonna get down this road with this discussion. We're just looking at this one lot to answer your question in this one
All right,
variance.
well, this would put a property built right on top of my property, on a piece of property that takes up considerably more than what they're accounting for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the, any comments or questions from the commissioners? I just personally, all the dramatics aside, the zero lot line always alerts me. I'm always opposed to zero lot line. Not as opposed for the 2 feet. It already exists, squaring off the house. I don't see a lot of harm in that. It's just honestly the porch that gets me, because they still do exist as 2 separate lots. So that's the only thing I'd have a problem with at this, as it's presented. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners?
Is the proposed porch, does it have a roof over it, or is it open?
But, just I understand there's a sketch in here, and just like I say, and y'all have seen before, we're granting the variance that's being asked for. So there's a porch in there, and so, but regardless of what's there, we're granting
You're granting the footprint.
you're granting the variance to the thing. If there's a porch there, it's a porch there. If there's a
Okay.
living room there, there's gonna be a living room there.
There's nothing else. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Ag, second by Mr. Romano. All those in favor?
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
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 Aye. It passes 4-2. Please be present in the next city council meeting Tuesday, September 5th at 5:30 PM in this room. Yeah. Okay, the next application is Francois. Application for variance to the zoning ordinance submitted by Corey Lee on behalf of Clifford Francois. The applicant is wanting to construct a new dwelling and is requesting a variance of 5 feet, resulting in a 20-foot setback to the front yard. The property is located at 11056 Luzon Street, parcel 135M-0-39-422.000, 12 and 13, block 632, Unit 6, Add 4, Shoreline Park subdivision. The property is zoned R1 Single Family District. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hello, Mark Benfatti. I'm representing Mr. Francois. We got a lot in Shoreline that's 96 feet on one side, and we have some tiebacks on the bulkhead that are a little bit at 10 feet, a little bit past 10 feet. So we're trying to keep the house a little bit off the tiebacks for the bulkhead.
I didn't see anything else, and I didn't see anyone signed up to speak. Was any comments or questions for Mr. Benfatti from the commissioners? No one was signed up.
We could use a nice quiet one here. I don't know how I get behind
No
this.
one has anything personal to say about Mr. Benfatti.
Jeremy, can you put me
Okay.
first? I always act, I want to be.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Reed.
What would it take to modify the plan to make it conforming?
You just have to redraw the whole plans. I mean, you'd have to redraw it.
Okay.
I mean, we
So-
could come back 3'6" and only need a 18-inch variance, but I have some tieback. We're just trying to stay off the bulkhead. We've had it once before where we built it, it pushed the wall out, so we're just trying to stay off. It's just a narrow lot. It's 96 feet, so just leading a little challenge.
Well, I live on a 50-foot lot, so I don't know that 96 feet is that,
This is front to back.
right.
Usually out there, they 110, 120, 130. This one's just a little narrow, and but you'd have to redesign the plan.
Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Mr. Whatever. All those in favor? So
Aye.
bless her now.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Please be present at the next city council meeting. It's Tuesday, September 5th, 5:30 PM. Last application is Edgecomb, application for special exception to the zoning ordinance submitted by John Edgecomb. The applicant is requesting a special exception to construct an accessory dwelling on a lot without a primary dwelling. The property is located at 400 Lilac Street, parcel 138A-0-46-200.000, 27 and 28, block 21, unit 3, Shoreline Estates subdivision. The property is zoned R1 Single Family District.
It's in y'all's folder, but, so there's application for the for a accessory structure without a primary. There's a letter from Jimmy Ladner, tax assessor collector, and it's basically Humit's concern. The issue with this parcel is the parcel that is right next to it is his primary house. The one that he wants to build a shed on, he can't combine them because they're across section lines, subdivision line, ward line. So it's probably across section lines. So it's the policy of tax assessor not to conjoin in conjunction with the Department of Revenue not to consolidate tax parcels across section lines. So therefore, the only way he could get a shed on this place is if he wouldn't build the whole house. So he wanted to combine it, but he can't. So that's why we're here.
Tricky.
So the
think
special exceptions, like I know was referred to earlier, and I wrote letters for all of them of if they meet variances. This is for special exception. This case, It checks off kind of all boxes of why we have special exceptions.
I think he explained it well for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You're
I
lucky
don't
Mr.
even
Whitney's not here
I
though.
just wanna let you know there will be no drama with me. All I wanna do is build a shed, that's it, and get on with life, but,
It is.
yeah.
I mean, normally, we would probably even entertain like an accessory dwelling, but like you're saying, I've had that situation before actually, where you can't combine the parcels. Did we have anybody in the audience signed up to speak?
Mm-mm.
Any comments or questions for the commissioners? I mean, still, even if they were to keep the lots separate, Jeremy, if he were to build a primary, he'd still have to make sure it was double whatever
Yeah.
accessory and meeting all the setbacks.
And then even just where it is, he's gonna have to, it's not gonna be enclosed to begin with, just because
No.
of the flood zone he's in.
Oh, true.
It's just gonna be a three-sided open front.
Nobody's gonna not know that it's actually not one lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move it.
Motion by Mr. Ag to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Romano. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Please be present at the next city council meeting Tuesday, September 5th, 5:30 PM.
Thank you.
Last, motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move it.
Motion by Mr. Ag. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Osborne. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Last agenda item is the motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All right.
You win.
Who won?
Well, no.
No, I said 6:05.